back to my channel. It's currently meant to be spring here and it is freezing. It snowed yesterday. If you happen to hear an echo, we're currently getting some new furniture, so that's why this room is a little bit echoey. I apologize for that. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my TBR for the month of October. I cannot believe how fast this year is going. It is insane. So if you don't know already, I am actually hosting a Charmed themed readathon next month, which is a readathon that I have created purely because of my love for the TV show Charmed. The original one, the only one that exists. Let's just keep that in mind. I will leave the link down below so you can check out my announcement video and see what this readathon is all about. So I'm going to be showing you the team that I have picked for myself and the books that I'm going to read for those prompts. I'm also going to be doing my Cards Against Books game, which again, I'll leave the link down below if you don't know what that is, but that is a game that I have created to come up with my monthly TBRs. It's kind of like Cards Against Humanity, but with various different book genres and book subgenres. So yeah, I'll leave a link for those two videos down below. So other than the Charmed Readathon and my TBR game, I'll also be participating in Tolkien Along, which is hosted by Ashley from Frolic Through Fiction. This is a J.R.R. Tolkien themed monthly read along. So this month they read The Hobbit. Next month in October they'll be reading The Fellowship of the Ring, and then they'll go to The Two Towers and then The Return of the King, which I'm so excited for because I've only read The Hobbit and I was going to do The Hobbit, but I'd already reread The Hobbit this year, so I figured may as well just wait and then pick it back up when Fellowship of the Ring starts. So I'll be reading along as part of Tolkien Along. So I'm very excited because I love Lord of the Rings, which you can't half tell because majority of the reason that we went to New Zealand for our honeymoon is because of Lord of the Rings. So let's just get into it. I'm just going to start off with the TBR game first and insert the clips of me doing the cards, and then we'll move on to the readathon. So that first one I have is a sci-fi by an Australian author, which wasn't too difficult to find because most of the sci-fi I have on my shelves are by an Australian author. And this one is Their Fractured Light by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. This is book 3 in the Starbound trilogy. I have read the first 2 and I have yet to read this one. I don't know why it has taken me so long to read because I love this series. The first book, These Broken Stars, was amazing. I read that about 5 years ago now, and then the second book was okay. It wasn't my favorite, but I still really enjoyed it. And this one, I just don't know why I keep putting it off. I guess I'm just like that with series because I don't want them to end, I guess. So each of these books follow a set of different characters. The first book follows 2 different characters, the second book follows another 2 different characters, and the third book follows another 2 different characters. And there's a romance, there's a lot of drama, and they all sort of interconnect at some point because of some kind of big baddie that just seems to be in each of their stories. So I believe the big baddie in each of these stories is called LaRue Industries, and there's always something going on, and from memory they're corrupted somehow. I don't really remember a lot about the bad side of things. I remember like bits and pieces of stuff that happens throughout the series, but I'm sure that once I pick this back up, I'll be able to be like, oh yeah, that's right, that's what was going on, and yeah. So this one follows Gideon and Sophia. Gideon is a hacker and Sophia is a con artist. And from what I gather, they're trying to infiltrate LaRue Industries' secret headquarters. I don't want to say too much because I don't know what could be considered a spoiler if you haven't read the first 2 books. But basically, this is like romantic sci-fi and a lot of drama. And I'm all for that. And the Australian author is Amy Kaufman. I believe Megan Spooner is actually American. But yeah, Amy Kaufman is the Australian author of this 2-part author series. So yes, I'm looking forward to reading this because how gorgeous is the cover, and they're incredible books, and I just am annoyed at myself for putting off reading this one for so long. the next one that I have is a young adult that a friend recommends, and I have gone with King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. I will be buddy reading this with my friend Jackie, JMac Books and Cats over on Instagram, and I am so excited because this follows one of my favorite characters from the Shadow and Bone trilogy, which is Nikolai Lantsov, and I believe this is all about him, and I also believe that Nina from the Six of Crows duology is in this as well. So very excited to be buddy reading this with her. I guess I could say that she recommended this to me because originally I hadn't read Shadow and Bone until she lent me the books to read. So she was kind of the one to sort of recommend me those books, and in doing so has led me to this, and she also recommended we both read this book together. So I'm going to count that. My game, my rules. But yes, I'm very keen to read this. It's all about Nikolai. Love him. And yeah, I love the Grishaverse. I think it's so unique and it's a lot of fun to read, and I'm looking forward to it. So this next one, we have a romance that has been adapted. So the next one that we have is a romance that has been adapted, and I have gone with Kiss of Darkness, a charmed novel based on the TV series by Constance M. Burge, which you probably already know. It was a little hard for me to sort of come up with something that was a romance that has been adapted because most of the romance I have, I've already read. And I really wanted to fit as many charmed books as I could in October, so I've gone with this one because I know there is romance and it's obviously a TV show, so I think it still counts as an adaptation that is also a romance. And I picked this one purely because it is called Kiss of Darkness, and from what I know, it's about Prue gets kissed by a stranger, and it's like the best kiss of her life, but now after that kiss she wants to kiss every man that she meets. So I actually have not read this one. I've read a few charm books, but this is one that I never actually read, so I look forward to reading it because it sounds good. And I love Charmed, so it's going to work very well in with October. The next one that we have is a fantasy that is a reread, and I've also gone with another charmed book, and that is The Legacy of Merlin, which is one that I have reread quite a couple of times. Absolutely love it because the girls actually go back in time to the days of Camelot, and of course it's a fantasy because charmed. I really love this one and one of my favorite charm books. So I believe that Prue gets a job with medieval books or something like that, or like she's working in antiques or the museum or something that she is, and she's going to buy some books for a collector. As they're heading to the village that has these books, they uncover a bunch of secrets about this strange guy, and then there's like a druid ritual, and then in order to fix things or work out the secrets from this strange guy, they have to go back in time to Camelot, which is great. Like, I love Camelot. What could be better than Charmed and Camelot and King Arthur? So the next one that we have is a classic that was gifted. So for this one, because of Tolkien Along, I am going to be reading The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. This edition was actually given to me by my dad as a wedding present, and I think it is just an absolutely gorgeous edition. It is hardcover, it is beautiful, it is secondhand, and it is, I love it. It's awesome. So I have the whole trilogy in these covers. I mean, I have a couple of different editions, but I picked this one purely so it would fit this prompt as well. So I'm looking forward to reading this as part of Tolkien Along. So I did try and read this like ages ago, probably when I was about 10, something like that, and I couldn't get into it. It was just too dense and difficult for me to read. But I feel like with all the books that I've read now, it might be a lot better, especially because I have read The Hobbit, so I may know what to expect. I don't know. I don't read a lot of high fantasy, and of course Lord of the Rings is like the epitome of high fantasy. I don't know. We will see, but I'm definitely going to set myself a goal of how many pages or chapters to read throughout the weeks, and we'll see how I go. I'm really hoping that I can actually read this. I'll be very, very happy if I can read The Fellowship of the Ring and actually enjoy it. And the last one for my card game is a middle grade that is my favorite color. My two favorite colors are green and purple. So I have gone with The Extremely Inconvenient Adventures of Bronte Metalstone by Jacqueline Moriarty. I picked this because it has a little bit of green on the cover. I don't know if you can see that, but it's on like the leaves and stuff. There's a little purple, there's a little green. I don't have many green type middle grades, so this was like the closest that I could have, and I only got this one recently too, but I am very excited to read it because I have heard many good things about this. I came across this on Jade's channel on JD Reads, and it just sounded like something that I knew I would love, so I'm looking forward to reading another middle grade next month. So I believe Bronte's parents were killed by pirates or something like that. So she's raised by her aunt on like a cruise ship or something, but she also has instructions from her parents as well that leads her on this epic adventure with like pirates and castles and dragons, and it just sounds like my childhood fantasies. So I know that I'm most likely going to love this. So for the readathons, as you know, I'm going to be reading The Fellowship of the Ring for Tolkien Along. And for the Charmed readathon, there are 6 prompts, or well, the 6th one is kind of like a bonus, but I have gone with the team The Hallowells. So my prompts for this particular team is Prue, read a book that you've been determined to get around to. So for this prompt, I've gone with another Leigh Bardugo book, and that is Ninth House. I've been meaning to read this since this book came out, and I've heard kind of mixed things, but I also feel like it's the perfect book to read in October. I think it's meant to be like dark academia. I'm not 100% sure. A main character is in Yale, and she's starting to discover like some secret societies or something like that, but it's a lot more sinister. There's forbidden magic, there's people trying to raise the dead, that sort of stuff. I don't know, but it sounds perfect for October, sounds perfect for this readathon, and of course it's another Leigh Bardugo book. I've already got King of Scars, may as well add another one to the list. The second prompt is Hallowell Manor, read a book that makes you feel nostalgic. So for this one, I've gone with The Fellowship of the Ring, so of course I'm doubling up here, but The Lord of the Rings always makes me feel nostalgic, so naturally I had to put the first book on there. The next prompt is Patty and Grams, read a book where the parents have died, die, or are non-existent. So for this one, I have gone with Charmed again, one of the other Charmed books. This follows the girls after Prue has died, and they discover their existence of a half-sister. This one is also one that is actually an episode of the TV show as well. It'll be interesting reading it in book form. The next prompt is A Book of Shadows, read a book that's over 500 pages, and of course I've gone with one that is doubled the 500 pages, and that is Stephen King's It. I don't know why I picked this one, because look how big it is. It's like 1,300 pages. But it's one that I've been meaning to read for the last few years. I've always been leaving it until October so that I can read it around Halloween, because October is a spooky month. Stephen King is naturally the greatest horror writer, so why not read some Stephen King in October? And it is one that I have been wanting to read for a while. All I know is that there's a creature or something that turns into children's worst fears, and I believe it follows the children at the beginning when they're young, and like one of the kids goes missing, and then like it follows them later as they're older and they're adults. That's all I know about it. Like I said, it's a chonker, so that's going to be interesting to see if I'll actually be able to finish it and also enjoy it, because I've never read Stephen King before, so we're just going to see how I go. But yes, I'm looking forward to giving this one a try. And the last prompt was Primrose Empath, but I have a special ability for this team. Each team has a special ability. So my special ability for this is astral projection. I'm able to swap one of my prompts in this for another prompt in another team. So I'm actually swapping Primrose Empath with Sin Francisco from the Underworld team, and that prompt is to read a book with a gorgeous cover. So for this one, I'm actually doubling up again, and I'm going to be reading Legacy of Merlin, a charmed book, which I've already mentioned because I included that in my TBR game, but this one I have picked for the gorgeous cover as well because it is gorgeous. It's one of my favorite charmed covers. Love it. Looking forward to it. So the last prompt, or the bonus prompt, is to read the charmed book Kiss of Darkness, which is this one, which I've already mentioned in my TBR game as well, and to watch an episode that is based around Prue. So I have a couple of episodes in mind. I picked that bonus prompt purely because if you have some charmed books, you can read them. But if you don't have any charm books, you can just watch some episodes of Charmed. Like, it's not a big issue, but you don't need to do the bonus prompt anyway if you don't want to. It's just a bonus. But yeah, so I have picked a couple of episodes that are based around Prue that I'm really looking forward to. I feel like season 2 follows a lot about Prue. There's a lot of episodes that are based around her, so there's a couple there that I would like to watch. Not sure which ones exactly, but there's ones like Miss Hellfire, which is one of my favorite ones about Prue. There's She's a Man, Baby a Man, which is the most hilarious episode of Charmed I have ever watched in my life. It's so bloody good. And there's, you know, P3H2O. There's the season finale of season 2. There's the season finale of season 3. There's so many really good Prue episodes, and I feel like she's definitely underrated. So yes, I'm very much looking forward to the Charm Readathon, reading the books for my TBR game, and for Tolkien along as well. So October is going to be a fantastic reading month. Crossing my fingers. I also have the mini readathon on Halloween as well, so that's a 24-hour readathon on the 31st, and in that one I actually hope to read all 3 charm books in those 24 hours. I'm hoping. We're going to see how this month goes for me anyway. So there we go. That's my 9 books on my October TBR. That's like the most books I have set myself to read, including one that's 1,300 pages long, so that's going to be interesting. But yes, let me know what you guys are planning on reading for October, and if you are participating in the Charmed Readathon, I would love to see what books you're going to read as well. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye!